If a man is wearing a shirt like this, he is so confident in himself. You know what this shirt says?
Dork.
There's two.
Alright.
There's three.
Game of life. We used to play that once in a while.
Oh, I remember that. And I would always lose, and I'd always take it really personal. What do you mean I'm not going to be successful in life? Sometimes I feel like I have a little angel that's always walking with me. Do you think that's true? Do you think there really are angels? Sometimes it feels that way. Everybody, thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi today. I hope you had a good week. I had such a fun week. Well, I wanted to give you an update today on Maggie. Everything went so wonderful, and thank you so much last week for giving Maggie such wonderful tips. And so that made my week, oh my gosh, that made my week so happy. And then Hal came up and we went to the county fair. And we spent hours and hours there. We had way too much fun. And I struck up a conversation with a man there that was in his 80s. And he started talking about how he regretted retiring. And well, that got me thinking, when do we know if we're ready to retire? When do we know if we should shake up our life? Do I stay or do I go? I remember when I was young and I was working as a bartender and I was working my way through college, and sometimes I would drift off and I would think, someday I'm going to retire and I'm not going to have all this stress in my life. I'm not going to have to worry. I'm not going to have to be so tired. Someday I'm going to retire. And I had that always in my mind, and it got me through some very bad jobs and some very bad times in my life. So it's kind of an odd thing that the older I got, the less attractive retirement seemed to be. There's so much research into happiness, and especially happiness after 65 years old. And there's only a few things that seems to be on everybody's list. And one of those things is feeling like you have a purpose in life. So is it possible that we can retire and still feel like we have a purpose in life? I was just a young kid. I didn't understand the ways of the world, but my grandfather didn't care. He talked to me like I was a little adult when I was 6. He told me when he turned 60, he asked himself what was the most important thing he had accomplished in his life. And he said he had to think, and think for a long time. And he came to the conclusion, if you have to stop and think for a long time, you better keep trying. Should I change jobs? Should I quit my job? What's the next step for me? How do I know? I'm 65 years old. I can collect Social Security. What do I do? Okay, so there's 3 pillars they say we need to look at. And number 1 is self-care. How is our health? How's our body? How's our weight? How is our emotional well-being? Years ago, I had a job I loved. I worked in a factory for an automotive company, and I did quality control and I loved it. And it was a very scientific job. I really wasn't qualified for the job, but I grew into it and I loved it. But it was long hours, hours and hours of working on my feet. And I realized that I probably could have worked that job forever. But if I had that job right now, I would have to look at it and say, how is that job affecting my body, my emotional health? And what's the best solution for me? If I quit that job and I retire, that doesn't mean a life of inactivity. It just means that I need to find a job or a way of life that isn't so hard on my body. If I'm going to be 70 years old, which I'm going to be 70 years old, there are a lot of jobs I'd love to do, but I have to take into consideration stress levels and the hours on my feet. That's just a reality. One of the second pillars that these researchers want us to ask before we shake up our lives is this new way of living that we're thinking about. Is it going to help us feel like we have a purpose? When we get up in the morning, are we going to feel like, I can't wait to start this day because what I'm doing is important? When somebody asks me, what's the most important thing you've ever done in your life? You have an answer. You don't even have to think about it. That's important. There are so many things that I thought I would love to do. I thought I would, build this beautiful Shangri-La in my backyard, lots of gardens and stone benches, and forever I would be reading fairy tales to my grandchildren, and that's all I would do in life, like my grandchildren would stay 6 years old forever, like I would stay 70 forever. That doesn't work for me. I realize that now, that those days that I want to film for you, and I look out and it's so sunny and beautiful, and I just want to maybe not do a video that week. I just want to live. And yet, I find purpose being here. I find such joy being here with you. I don't want to leave. I know somebody once said to me, isn't it going to be wonderful? There'll come a time where maybe you'll do a video, maybe one video a month or one video every 2 months. And they mean well when they say that. But every woman has a story. And every woman has an untold story. So women our age, 70 and above, they're not really seen in society. So I think every time I film a video and I put it up, that it does have a purpose. It's not vanity and it's not financial. It's that we pay our lives forward and we learn from each other. We inspire each other and we can warn each other. It's important. Or I feel it's important. I feel every single time, every single week when I read your words and your comments, I learn, I grow, I become better. So, no, actually, I don't take a lot of comfort in thinking, well, maybe there'll come a time I only do one video a year. I don't feel that way, not yet, maybe never.
I think it's you. I love that.
Thank you.
Oh, that makes it even better. Do you have a date for this Saturday night?
Yes.
I bet you do. Oh, wow.
Would you wear this if I bought it for you?
Well, no. Look at how much this weighs. If I were to, wear this in the winter, snow blowing, I'd never get out of the snowbank. Are you watching over Mom's garden? I appreciate that. I really do.
There are people out there that are so afraid of getting older. In fact, I I followed years ago a woman that I so admired on YouTube. She inspired me to make videos, but one day she looked into the camera and she said, there comes a time in every woman's life where she looks in the mirror and she realizes, I'm old. It's over. I don't want to be seen anymore. I'm going to live a life. I'm going to have a life of purpose, but I don't want to be seen anymore. And she took down all her videos. She disappeared. And I learned from her. I learned that, yes, she was right in some ways. There does come a time where a woman will look in the mirror and she will say to herself, I'm old, I don't recognize myself. Or maybe you're walking down the street, you catch your reflection in a store window and you think for a minute, is that my mom? Is that my mom when she was older? You're never too old, though, to be seen. You're never too old to be heard. That's joy to me. It's joy when I get to watch another woman tell her story. And the older that woman is, the more I love it.
There's no crime in having dreams that might be unrealistic, dreams that only you think you can achieve. But the real tragedy might be letting go of every dream you ever had because you think your life is over.
There's such a thing as joy. We all need happiness and we all need joy. And one of the last things they say women do for themselves is self-care and making sure that opportunities are there for us so we can feel happiness, so we can feel joy. We're facing a decision. Is this decision, is that going to be good for us, for our bodies and for our emotional health? That decision that we're making, is that going to make our life more joyous? And this decision that we're making, does it have longevity as far as making us feel important and that we have a purpose? All those things are crucial when it comes time for us to make the decision. Are we going to stay or are we going to go?
It's the fire in the rain. It's the smile within the pain. It's the logic but insane. You cannot know from where it came. It's the way you cross the floor before you head on out the door.
I need a car.
It's the figure
They're much safer for me.
1,000 places to go to before you die. What do you think they mean by that?
Well, you got your bathroom, got your living room, got your kitchen.
And the pharmacy, don't forget that.
When I first started YouTube, it wasn't popular to share your life. It wasn't popular to talk about your own story as a woman. It wasn't popular to talk about your journey. We had a place. We were to keep it light and airy and talk about makeup and hair, and that's what I did. But what I came to realize is that every woman has a story to tell. Every woman is the star of her own movie. Down below, I am going to link a video film that I watched this week by a woman named Jayne from New York. She's been on YouTube a very long time. She's extremely talented. And she has created a video film about the 10 times in her life that she has moved. And it's not the average, hey, home tour or take a look at what's in my bedroom. No, this work of art that she has created takes you through her life as a girl that started out in the Bronx and went to Queens and then went to the suburbs. And who knows where she's going next, but it's riveting. She tells the story of her father from Poland and her mother who was Jewish.
I know my days are outnumbered here. It's kind of sad. It's kind of good, but it's kind of sad in a way. It's really not that bad. And I was right. It happened.
Video that when you watch it, you can't forget it. And I think that's probably one of the best compliments I could give Jayne's work. And that video affected me this week. It affected me deeply. It made me realize that we are the sum total of everything that's happened in our life. So she's made this decision, a hard decision with her husband, to move once again. And so I'm thinking, in every decision that I make, in every decision that I ever made, that it wasn't just one thing that made me decide to do what I did. It's the totality of everything that's ever happened in our life, and knowing ourselves and what we so desperately want. And so many times, I've said this so many times before, but women don't usually ask themselves, what do I want? We ask everybody else, what do they want? What do our children want? What does our partner want? What does our doggy want?
I wish I was right there with you.
Yeah, grab a tube, let's go. Yeah, all right.
Sometimes we can find these amazing moments in life. Just floating down the river, not a care in the world. Just peaceful, just happy, just everything. Oh, now there's a nice shirt. There you go. A nice Hawaiian honeymoon. Ooh. Let me see. Let me see. Is it you?
It's yellow.
You don't like yellow? Why? Look at it. It's gorgeous. It looks so nice on you. Look
I don't like yellow.
Are you sure? What do you mean you don't like yellow? Aren't your shoes yellow?
No, they're green.
I think I saw you in the movie Lawrence of Arabia. You were really good in that movie.
I wanted to make sure I again thanked everybody for all the tips that you gave Maggie. She just loved it so much. And you know, she got all the clutter off her front porch with the help of her neighbors. And she has brand new rugs and plants on her front porch, and she loves it. And Maggie did not want any money from me or anybody. I did twist her arm, and I did get to send her a little something. And you know what she did with the money I sent? She bought a swing for her front porch for she and her daughter. So thank you. Thank you for being so kind to Maggie. She wanted me to tell you all that she loves you. Please have yourself a happy, safe, brand new week. And when you're done with your week, come back and see me and Desi, okay? All right, it's a deal. We'll be here.
Oh, Glacier gets a name.
Because they're big. When they're real big, they give them names.
Really? Huh, like people.